Hi, good morning, or good afternoon, or good evening, wherever in the world you're from. A warm welcome to Tata Literature Live, the 11th annual Mumbai International Litfest, and the first one to be completely digital, co-sponsored by Tata Steel and Tata Projects. This session is presented by Guppy Theatre. The pet tiger takes us to the mystical land of Mastipur, where the royal pet has everyone rollicking with his very non-tiger antics. The story has been written by Shibani Lal and will be performed by Neha Singh. Neha is an actor, theatre maker and author of several children's books including I Need to Pee, Moongfali and Is It the Same for You? She loves telling stories, travelling and has quite the knack for gardening. So, audience members of all ages, I hope you've brought your papers, pens, imagination and enthusiasm along so that we can take you on a wild ride with the pet tiger Shera and his human Prince Arjun. There will be a 5-minute Q&A at the end of the session, so please do send in your questions in the comments section of the chat box. And don't forget to write your name and age. All right, over to you, Neha.
Thank you, Jillian. Thank you so much. So, hi everyone. I'm so glad to be here today. And I am an author. I write for children. But today, I am going to be reading from this very, very special book called The Maharaja of Mastipur and the Pet Tiger. So this book has been written by Shibani Lal and it's been illustrated by Sonal Gupta Vaswani and it's produced by Guppy Theatre. So besides doing this today, I've also written a play called The Magnificent Madness of Mastipur, which is going to premiere in June 2021 and it's going to be a spectacular play. So I hope that you all save the date and come watch the show. So let me tell you that I'm also going to be showing you some animation clips and I know that all of you really enjoy animation. So the animation for this has been created by Climb Media. So I hope all of you are ready to listen to this story. Let's start. So how many of you have ever heard of this title, A Pet Tiger? I mean, isn't that a little bit crazy? Who keeps a tiger as a pet? So let's see what happens in this story. In a splendid palace on a vast piece of land in Rajasthan lived a Maharaja, his Maharani, and their only son, Prince Arjun Pratap Singh Ji. From the lofty mountains far away flowed a large river that kept the surroundings lush green. There were thick forests and exotic gardens, fountains and turn he continued, while the great-grandfather clock went tick-tock, tick-tock, tick-tock. The Maharaja looked perplexed. His son had just made the strangest request. Did Prince Arjun really mean what he said? Did the Maharaja hear right? Can't be, he thought. He has everything. So he marched off to his son's room to make sure. The prince had the biggest bedroom in the palace. In the middle stood an enormous 4-poster bed. The windows were draped with heavy curtains made of blue and gold thread. The entire room was filled with toys. There was a jeweled train set that chugged around the room, whistling the prince's favorite tunes. Ooh, ooh. Toy sailboats with sails made of the finest silk and a rocking horse larger than the biggest horse in the entire kingdom. In the corner was an alcove that was laden with gold and leather-bound books. But the most special of them all was the magic book. Every time it opened, the fairies and goblins came alive, jumped out of the book and danced about the room. Imagine if you all had a magic book like that, out of which fairies and goblins and elves came out. Wouldn't that be amazing? The prince is a very fortunate little boy, humped the Maharaja. He has everything he needs, he thought. Then why did he? Before he could turn away, a figure somersaulted high in the air and landed squarely on his feet right in front of him. It was His Little Highness, Prince Arjun Pratap Singh Ji himself. The little prince, as he was fondly called by all his subjects, was a brave and happy boy, mused the Maharaja. So he questioned him for the last time. What exactly do you want for your birthday, my son? The little prince sighed and said, My dear father, I have a lot of toys, but like all the other girls and boys, I too need a little bundle of joy. I'm sad that I don't have one just yet. Dear daddy, please may I have a pet? Have you all also asked your parents to get pets for you? And how many of you already have pets? Not a dog, not a cat, not a duck, not a goose, not an ant, not a bee, for those I will lose. The Maharaja was distraught. Of all the toys in the world, his son wanted a cuddly pet. What on earth did the prince need a little pet for? The forests were full of elephants, leopards, camels, alligators and peacocks. And what about the palace pets? The royal dog, Mr. Barks, and the royal cat, Mr. Whiskers. But the prince was insistent. Oh, please, daddy, all my friends have one. Myra has a dog that's so much fun. Tara has a snail and her big brother a pig. Oh, I want a pet, something grand and big. So the prince did not want a cat or a dog or a snail or a rabbit, nothing. He wanted something grand and big. You know, I have a friend who has a pet monkey. Can you imagine? She used to get her monkey everywhere that we went, to picnics and parties, and we all used to hang out with the monkey. So let's see the animation clip where you will come to know what are all the different kind of pets that everybody is guessing that the prince might like. Adnan, can we have the clip?
What? What do you want?
Pet! Want a pet!
Dog?
No, Prince Tino has it.
Tortoise?
No, Princess Myra has it.
Talking parrot?
Too talkative.
Porcupine,
Too pokey.
rabbit,
Too squishy.
elephant,
Too big.
then mouse,
Too small.
Squirrel,
Too fast.
snake,
Too slithery.
turtle,
orangutan,
Too comic-y.
fish, snail, ants.
Boring, boring, boring. Yeah.
Then what?
Something majestic, powerful and big.
Oh, well, I think it's a little bit difficult to please this little prince. He is not happy with anything. Did you see how many guesses those people made and he was still not convinced? Now, finally, one person in the entire palace had the solution. Can you guess who? Well, it was the very wise and the very beautiful Maharani, the prince's mother, because mothers know best, right? So she went to her husband, the Maharaja, and said, Oh dear husband, I know what we should get. I have an idea for the most wonderful pet. It has big paws, small ears, big teeth, and small toes, covered in orange-black stripes, except for its nose. Can you guess? What did she think? What was the pet that she was talking about? I think you all can guess. The Maharaja was delighted. A tiger, no less, for their precious son. They'd surprise him on his birthday, sit back and enjoy the fun. The palace would sparkle and the bells would toll, and the prince his sweet tiger would lovingly hold. The grandest party the king had planned. He invited the whole village and the local band. Now he felt ready for that special day. It's going to be a tiger cub for the little prince's birthday. A royal Bengal tiger, nothing less. That evening, the Maharaja dashed off a letter to the Maharaja of Bengal. Now, how many of you have ever seen a royal Bengal tiger in real life? Isn't it an amazing sight, the most beautiful sight? And now our little prince was going to get a little royal Bengal cub of his own. Do you want to see? Come, let's watch it together in the animation.
Yes, a tiger!
Royal Bengal Tiger.
His Highness Sher Singh Pratap Singh Ji, the Royal Bengal Tiger, Shera.
Wow, isn't that cute and adorable? Do you also behave like that with your pets? Isn't Shera just cute? So cute. I want to cuddle him. You are my best friend, the prince said. Your Highness Shera Singh Ji, my very own tiger cub. Now show me your tummy for a cute belly rub. Mummy, Daddy, look at this cub. Go on, give him a belly rub. Look at his paws, look at his nose. I love his ears and I love his toes. The Maharaja said to the prince, now son, he's still a cub, small and cute, but feed him tons of meat, cereal and fruit. Tigers are regal and brave and very strong. He'll be brave and ferocious, not before long. Well, so the Maharaja had given strict instructions to make Shera into a brave and ferocious tiger, but nothing of the sort happened because our little prince was so much in love with his cuddly little cub that all he did was play and cuddle and tickle and love Shera to bits. So, when Shera grew up, he became just something that the Maharaja had never expected. He purred like a cat, wore a red and blue hat, he flossed his teeth and painted his toes. If raw meat was served, he turned up his nose. A tickle here and a tickle there. At the breakfast table, he demanded a chair. He walked on hind legs, oh, not on all fours. And this silly tiger refused to roar. Can you imagine a tiger that doesn't know how to roar and doesn't walk on all four legs and doesn't like meat? He was only eating green vegetables. The Maharaja, Maharani and the prince watched open-mouthed as Shera hoisted himself upon a chair, spread a napkin on his lap and tucked in a hot, fluffy cheese omelette using a fork and a knife. The Maharani nearly choked on her watermelon. As for the Maharaja, he couldn't believe his eyes. He fell off his chair in complete surprise. Oh my goodness, what is this? He said with a splutter. A tiger eating toast with eggs, jam and butter? Prince, explain yourself. What have you done to your pet? Why haven't you trained him to hunt and be brave as yet? The Maharaja said, now I have to take matters into my own hands. I will make sure that Shera becomes a hunter and learns how to roar. Come, let's see what the Maharaja did in the animation.
The pride of Bengal. Wonderful. He's absolutely ready for the hunt.
Well, did you see that? So they actually tricked Shera into roaring through gargling. Do you want to try that at home after the story gets over? Just drink a glass of water, start gargling, and then see if you can roar like a tiger. So now that everyone was convinced that Shera had been trained to become ferocious and be a hunter and he could roar, the next thing was they took him on a hunt. So let's see what happened at the hunt. What are your guesses? Do you think Shera is going to hunt, or he's just going to be the cuddly, sweet tiger that he's been all this while? Let's see what happens. Seated on Gaja, the hunter elephant, the prince led the way into the jungle while Shera walked on hind legs behind them. The prince hoped that Shera would behave like a tiger, at least in the jungle. He was sure that once Shera saw the other animals, he would act like a normal tiger. They wandered around the jungle for an hour before the prince heard the faintest little sound. He raised his hand and everyone stopped in their tracks. All at once, a shy little deer with soft dewy eyes came out of the tall grass and stood still, trembling in fear. Why was it trembling? Because it had just seen a real tiger in front of it, and it thought the tiger is going to come and kill him. But it was not a time to feel sorry for the little creature. It is nature's order that tigers hunt deer. Grinding his teeth, he whispered to Shera, "Go on, tiger! Go! Hunt! Be a brave boy! Do me proud and I'll buy you a new toy!" Now, what do you think Shera did? Shera is slowly moving towards the fearful deer. And then what happened? Let's see it in the animation.
Go, Shera, go! Hunt! Jump, you silly tiger!
Oh well, the hunt really didn't go off as planned, right? Shera and the deer became best friends and they were playing and cuddling and tickling each other. Now tell me, what is the kind of tiger that you would like? Would you like a ferocious and hunter type of a tiger, or would you like this kind of a tiger, like a Shera kind of a tiger? I think I would want this kind of a tiger, the Shera kind of tiger. Anyway, a few days later, during a meeting with the finance minister, the prince noticed that the children looked glum. Not a tickle, no chatter, not a word, not a hum. "Dear elders, is something the matter? It's been days since I heard the kids chatter. Tell me what's wrong, I'll help you, I swear. After all, I'm your prince, gentle and fair." So the elders told the prince what the problem was. They said, "Dear prince, we are scared of an enormous beast. A scary bison has escaped from the forest in the east. He hides in our village and he eats all our food and pounces on the children when he's in a bad mood. We don't know what to do. It's such a big problem. Prince, please save us." The prince felt challenged. He couldn't have a scary bison upsetting his subjects. But how could he solve this problem? "Listen," cried the prince. "I have a help. Shera and I will chase this bison away." "Shera!" cried the villagers. "Your Highness, are you sure? He is just a pussy cat, very fat and demure. This bison is ferocious, cunning and wild. And this tiger, Shera, is so gentle and ever so mild." "Silence!" cried the prince. "Go and get me 3 pots of paint, black, white and blue. And also get me, ladies' high heel shoes, 4 of them. Also get me 2 bananas, big ones, the biggest you can find in the kingdom. And then I have a plan to scare away the bison. So I'm not going to tell you the complete story because you have to read it yourself. And I'm going to leave you with something right now. What do you think the prince did with Shera? Black and blue paint, 2 very large bananas, and 4 ladies' high heel shoes. What could be his plan to scare away the bison using all these things? So when you get to answer the questions now in just another 2-3 minutes, you have to tell me, okay, what do you think the prince had planned? So this was the story of the Maharaja of Mastipur and the Pet Tiger. You can buy this book for yourself. There's also another book with the same characters. It's called The Palace of Pranks, and both books have been produced by Guppy Theatre, and they will soon be available for you to purchase and to read yourself. That's it.
Thank you, Neha. That was absolutely wonderful. I thoroughly enjoyed the story, and I'm sure our audience members did as well. We've got some lovely questions from our eager audience members.
Okay, can't wait.
Yes. So the first one is 8-year-old Tanya wants to know, can people have a monkey as a pet in the house?
So, well, Tanya, this had actually happened with me when I was young. And we used to stay in a city called Jodhpur. It's in Rajasthan. And one of my friends, same age as me, she actually did have a monkey which they had rescued. So it was a baby monkey which her parents had rescued when she was also a little girl. And then they didn't know where to, leave it or take it, or there was no like an animal shelter or anything. So they just kept it with them. And he became like any other pet, like a dog or a cat or whatever. And we used to play with him, and he never bit us, he never scratched us or anything, and he would understand human language to a great extent. Yeah. So people
Wow.
do have. Yeah.
That's really impressive. I've always been scared of monkeys, but I guess if you have them as pets, they
Yeah.
would be more fun to play with it.
Yeah.
So we have another question. 10-year-old Apeksha wants to know, did the prince know it was illegal to have a tiger as a pet?
Well, I think that this story is about a time that was, way, way, way in the past when there used to be kings and queens and palaces. And I think the laws at that time were very different, because I think that a lot of kings and queens had, pet elephants and pet camels and pet pythons and pet leopards. So I think after we got our independence in 1947, a lot of the laws changed. You know what are laws, right? Rules that the government makes that everybody has to follow, otherwise you go to jail. So I think before that, the kings and queens could get away with a lot of things. So I think the story is about that time.
Wonderful. Thank you. Thank you so much, Neha. I think that's all the questions we have now. Is there anything you would like to tell our young audience members before we wrap our session?
I think what you can do is you can think about what the prince did with the black, blue, red paint with Shera and the 2 big bananas and the high heel shoes. And maybe if you come up with a solution, you can even paint it and see what Shera would look like if he wore and painted in all those colors. Would he look similar to that other creature that everybody was scared of in the story? I'm giving you a hint there, a very big hint, so you all can try it out at home. Also, I think what you can do is, next time for your holiday, you can tell your parents that you want to go out to a place where you can actually see a Royal Bengal tiger. There are a lot of places in India where you can actually go and see a Royal Bengal tiger if you're patient enough and you're quiet enough and you're brave enough. And also, when you go into the jungle, this is something that I learned when I had gone to a jungle, that you can't be wearing bright clothes. Because when you wear really bright clothes, all the animals in the jungle, they can like spot you from a distance, and then they know that these are human beings. And unfortunately, animals are scared of human beings because you know what we have done to them. So they run away. So if you dress in the colors of the jungle, like green, light greens, light blues. If you are going to something like a Jim Corbett National Park, you can wear like oranges, dull rust colors, and go into the jungle on a safari. And I'm telling you, if you manage to see a Royal Bengal tiger, that image and that visual is not going to leave you ever. You'll always remember it. Always.
Absolutely. I 100% agree with you, Neha, because the last holiday I had was in Kanha National Park, and we were lucky and fortunate enough to see 3 tigers. So I'm sure all our young audiences would be very happy to go on a jungle safari. And wouldn't it be amazing to have a pet tiger, especially like Shera? Thank you. Thank you so much, Neha, for this amazingly quirky and fun rendition. And a big thank you to our audience members for being here. We'd also like to thank you, Neha. We'd also like to thank our title sponsor, Tata, and our session sponsor, Guppy Theatre. Now, do tune in for our next session at 12:30 p.m. Lesser known characters from the Mahabharata, which promises to be as interesting as this one. We hope you had a great time. See you later.